Hello students, in continuation with the STAR series, I have brought the topic 1b, which is twins. In the topic 1a, we have discussed diabetes in pregnancy. So either the question will come from diabetes in pregnancy or twins. This has been the trend in the recent 3 to 4 year exams. So now let's discuss twins. In the twins, the most important topic which has been quite frequently asked is types of monozygotic twins, right? So monozygotic twins means that the twins are formed from a single zygote. How come single zygote make twins? Single zygote make twins by the splitting of the zygote into two identical structures. Now there is a splitting rule. What does the splitting rule says? The splitting rule says that the conceptors or the cells which are splitting, they must be containing some undifferentiated cells and differentiated cells. The differentiated cells, they will not split into two. They will remain one only, right? And the undifferentiated cells, they have only the potential to split into two identical structures. Now let's apply this rule and study the different types of the monozygotic cell. But if the splitting is occurring at day 1 to day 3, then in that conceptors which splits by day 1 to day 3, nothing is differentiated. All the cells are undifferentiated. As a result, the whole conceptors splits into two identical structures, and these two identical structures later form their own chorion, own amnion, and the fetus. So as a result, if the splitting is occurring at day 1 to day 3, the type of the twins which is formed is dichorionic diamniotic twins. If the splitting is occurring at day 4 to day 8, now by day 4 to day 8, the placenta or the chorion has been formed. These have been differentiated. Now as a result, this chorion or the placenta is not going to divide. It will remain as it is or one only. The rest of the undifferentiated cells, which in future will be forming the amniotic cells, amniotic sac and the fetus, will be formed twice, right? So the type of the twin which is formed by day 4 to day 8 is monochorionic diamniotic twins. So now here you can very nicely understand one very important concept, that the first structure which is formed in a conceptus is placenta and not the fetus. So the first thing which is formed in a conceptus is the placenta. Okay, by day 9 to day 12, if the splitting is occurring by day 9 to day 12, now by day 9 to day 12, the chorion and amnion now both are differentiated. In addition to chorion, the amnion is also differentiated. So now the type of twin which is formed is monochorionic monoamniotic twins. Since they both have been differentiated, now they will not split and they will remain one only. Now both the fetus which will be formed later from the splitting tissues, they will be in one amniotic sac and will be sharing one placenta. If the splitting occurs after day 12, now after day 12, the fetus body starts differentiating. After day 12, the fetus body starts differentiating. Now whatever part of the fetus has been differentiated first or before splitting will not be dividing into two. Both the fetus will be sharing that same body part, and that is why after day 12, the type of the twins which are formed is conjoined twins. And these conjoined twins, of course, will be sharing the same chorion and the same amniotic sac. Now let's see how the questions are asked. This is the question asked in FMG Jan 23. If division in the zygote occurs between day 9 to day 12 after fertilization, the outcome of the twins is. So now we know that if the division is occurring, if the splitting is occurring at day 1 to day 3, it is dichorionic diamniotic because nothing is differentiated. And if the splitting is occurring at day 4 to day 8, then the chorion is formed, but the amniotic sacs are not formed. So the type of the twin will be monochorionic diamniotic. From day 9 to day 12, it is monochorionic, monoamniotic. So here they have asked us day 9 to day 12, it is monochorionic, monoamniotic. And after day 12, it is conjoined twins. Right? So conjoined twins are also known as Siamese twins because they were first found in the Siamese town. Right? So conjoined twins are formed if splitting occurs after day 12. So the answer to this question is monochorionic, monoamniotic. Most common type of twin seen after ART. Now, what is ART? ART is artificial reproductive technique or IVF. In IVF, we undergo multiple fertilizations and we form a lot of zygotes so that we can choose a better fetus for the IVF mother. So the answer here is, of course, dizygotic. Multiple fertilization, so dizygotic. Now here I want to say you that all the dizygotic twins, they are dichorionic, diamniotic. The reason behind is that because they are zygotes, they are separate zygote right from the starting, right? So these separate zygotes will be making their own chorion and on amnion, resulting into dichorionic, diamniotic. Now let us study the complications in the twins. Why we want to know whether it is monochorionic, monoamniotic, dichorionic or diamniotic? Because there are some complications which occur in all the separate categories. Now let's study. There are some complications which occurs in all the twins, and these are the complications which is due to less space problems. Space is less because both the fetus, they are sharing a single uterus. So of course there is less space and they will be suffering from some common problem. All the twins, whether it is DCDA, whether it is NCDA or whether it is MCMA. What are those complications? They are preterm labor pains, discordant twins. Because why preterm labor pains? Because the uterus will be over-distended. Over-distended uterus always lead to labor pains. Why discordant? Because same mother is giving nutrition to both the fetus. It may be that one fetus gets more nutrition than the other, leading to discordant twins. If the nutrition is too much compromised, it may lead to death of one twin. So these are something less space problems, and this occurs in all type of twins. Now what are the problem if the twins are sharing the same placenta? Monochorionic twins are formed after day 4. After day 4. So what are the problems which occurs in the monochorionic twins? In the monochorionic twins, as both the twins, they are sharing the same placenta. So you all know that umbilical vessels, they separate in the placenta. Now because they are sharing the same placenta, so now the vessels, umbilical vessel of one fetus can communicate with the umbilical vessels of the another fetus, because both the umbilical vessels, they are separating in a same placenta. Now when these are separating in a same placenta, and when they communicate with each other, then the blood from one fetus will be going to the another fetus, leading to twin anemia polycythemia syndrome, because one fetus will become donor and another fetus will become recipient if the vessels, they are communicating inside the placenta. So when the blood from one fetus will be going into another fetus, it will be known as twin anemia polycythemia syndrome, or TAPS, twin to twin transfusion syndrome, right, and twin reverse arterial perfusion syndrome. Okay, so all the T complications are formed if they are having the one placenta, because these umbilical vessels, they open in one placenta and there is a tendency to communicate. Now if the twins are sharing one amniotic sac, Now what can happen? So the umbilical cords of both the twins which are in one amniotic sac can entangle, right? Because you know that these twins, they are moving a lot. So when they will move a very a big movement, then the umbilical cord of one twin can entangle with the umbilical cord of the other twin, and when this umbilical cord will be entangled, it can lead to asphyxia. So these are the problems which you have to remember. These are the complications which occurs in all type of twins. That is a less space problem. That is preterm labor pains, discordant twins, and death of one twin. Some problems are specific if they are sharing the same placenta, and that is the transfusion of the blood from one fetus to the another, leading to TAPS, twin to twin transfusion syndrome, and TRAPS. And if they are in the one amniotic sac, then a further additional problem is that their umbilical cord may entangle with each other, leading to severe asphyxia and the death of both the fetus. Now let us study the question. What is the complication specific to monochorionic twins? So here they have asked what are the complications specific to monochorionic, that is one placenta. Discordant twins, they happen in all types of twins, because this is a problem with sharing of one uterus. Preterm labor pain, it is also with all types of twins. Twin to twin transfusion syndrome occurs in monochorionic twins. Okay, IUGR can occurs in all types of twins. So here the answer is monochorionic twins. Okay, because twin to twin transfusion syndrome, because if they are sharing one placenta, umbilical vessels of one fetus may communicate with the umbilical vessels of the other, leading to the transfer of the blood from one fetus to another. Let's see what is the best time to determine the chorionicity. It means what by these complications we understand that we must determine the chorionicity. We must know that whether the twin is monochorionic or monoamniotic or dichorionic diamniotic. So how to determine the chorionicity? How to determine that whether there is one placenta or two placenta? Okay, of course this is something very important, because then only we will be coming to know that whether these complications will occur or not, right? So what is the best time to determine that there is one placenta or two placenta, monochorionic or dichorionic? So here the answer is first trimester. How? The placenta structure, it is complete by 10 weeks. So placenta is formed by 10 weeks. Okay? And in the pregnancy, it is ruled because there is in the small uterus there is a fetus, and in the twins there are two fetus. So overcrowding can obstruct the view of the placenta when the fetus are big. So in the obstetrics, it is a rule to see the structure earliest, so that we can avoid overcrowding of the structures. Right. So because the placenta structure is completed by 10 weeks, so we say that we can determine the chorionicity by 11 to 14 weeks. Right, earliest. Once the placenta structure has been completed, so we should determine the chorionicity. If the twins is dichorionic placenta, if it is dichorionic placenta, then there will be twin peak sign or lambda sign. Okay, and if it is monochorionic, then there will be T sign. Determination of chorionicity. So placenta structure is completed by 10 weeks, and the chorionicity is determined by 11 to 14 weeks. So now the last topic which has been asked in your exam is how to deliver the twins. Okay, so the mode of delivery in the twins, whether we will deliver by normal delivery or cesarean, depends on two factors. Number one is what is their amniosity, whether they are in one amniotic sac or whether they are in the two amniotic sac. If they are in the one amniotic sac, That is, they are monoamniotic twins. I told you that the complication of monoamniotic twins is the entanglement of the umbilical cord. So if they are in the one amniotic sac, okay, then you have to do cesarean, because when the patient, when the fetus will be in the labor pains, and when the fetus will play, there are chances of umbilical cord entanglement. So we will not let them undergo labor pains and go into severe asphyxia. So we will do cesarean, and cesarean is done at 32 to 34 weeks at such a high prematurity. The reason is that because the fetus, they grow in size after 32 weeks. So once they have grown significantly, they have more tendency to cause severe asphyxia. So that is why we are doing cesarean at 32 to 34 weeks. And if they are in the separate amniotic sac, then we can undergo normal vaginal delivery if the first twin is vertex. First twin is a twin which is in the lower part of the uterus, which will come first. So if the first twin which is coming in out of the uterus, out of the cervix, is vertex, then we can do normal delivery, whether it is monochorionic or dichorionic. But if the twins are in the two amniotic sac and first twin is vertex, we can do the normal delivery. If the first twin is breech or transverse, then we have to do the cesarean. Okay, and these cesareans, they are done at 37 weeks. Okay, monoamniotic twin cesarean are done at 32 to 34 weeks, since there is a chances of umbilical cord entanglement. But diamniotic twin cesarean is done at 37 weeks, and they are only done if first twin is non-vertex. If first twin is vertex, then for the diamniotic twins, we have to undergo normal vaginal delivery. Now let us see, this is a question asked in FMG December 2019. 32 years old lady, twin pregnancy, dichorionic, diamniotic. So I told you mode of delivery presents on amniotic sac. So now they are diamniotic, they are in a separate amniotic sac. First baby is breech. First baby is, that is the lowermost baby in the uterus, is breech. Second baby is cephalic. So what is the management? But I told you that management depends on the first baby. If first baby is non-vertex, then we have to undergo cesarean. Okay. Normal delivery is done in diamniotic and first baby vertex. Since it is here the first baby is breech, we are doing cesarean. Assisted breech, no way. Instrumental delivery, no way. So the answer is cesarean. So that was all about the twins. All the best, students. Take care. See you soon in the second topic. That's all for today.